Bros, you're about to get a face full of the Ken Bozak. He's a mentor, that's what I heard. He's a connector, oh yeah. He's a brilliant leader, I've seen it. He's Ken Bozak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Ken bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Ken Bozak.
And we're live.
Well, hello.
What's up?
How goes it?
Seems like we're here. It's been a very long time coming. I think almost like a year and a half of us trying to make this happen.
Damn, man. Well, it's good to see you. Introduce yourself to the audience. Let them know who you are. I was just thinking your initials are PC. And it's like reminded me of Principal PC, where he's like not politically correct anymore. He's Power Christian Principal or something. But yeah, PC. Paul, introduce yourself to the Bros. Let them know a little bit about like maybe who you are, how you got into the crypto space, and what you're doing in the space with like your AI project now.
Wow. Okay, I'll do my best. So first of all, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate you.
For sure, bro.
And so my name is Paul David Carpenter. I am the robocall magician. We'll explain here in a little bit, but also I've been a magician and a hypnotist for about 35 years. 2 world records, featured in Ripley's. I was also in a band when I was in my 20s, got signed to Universal. And then I got signed to Sony, and both of those fell apart. Then I was on a TV show called In Search of the Partridge Family with all of the old Partridge Family members. And that fell apart, and then I went back into the magic world. This is so like when I'm 28, And then I went to New York, and then I had my own off-Broadway, and got featured in Ripley's, and had 2 world records. And so I did that for a really long time, Traveled around the world, had a good time. And then about 2 years ago, maybe, 2.5 years ago, I guess, November of 2024. So yeah, like almost a year and a half, 2 years ago. In the primary of the elections, I had this guy whose name was Steve Kramer hire me to make a replica of Biden's voice. And that went out he then released it to the public and put it out into the New Hampshire primary. And about 3 weeks later, there's 50 attorney state generals, the FBI, looking for the guy who made the Biden robocall. And so I went to the guy who broke the story and told him everything. And he flew to New Orleans, which is where I was at the time. And they made it out to be that I was a street magician that was, just lollygagging here and there. And I met a guy and I just soon, seemed to know some AI stuff that nobody else knew, and somehow I used 11 Labs, 2 years before anybody else was really using it popular style, and I paid $1 and 20 minutes of my time, and I copied the voice of Biden, and I sold it to him. It was supposed to be 1,500, but he only gave me $1,500. He was going to give me the rest when he sold it to the Biden team. And
You,
mind you, for months he
wow.
had told me I'm working with Biden, I'm getting a house out of it, blah blah blah. And he'd worked for Kanye West, he had worked for Trump, he had worked for all different types of campaigns for the last 15, 20 years. The name of the company was called Get Out the Vote. And so I ended up getting him busted for $6 million and
Oh,
13 federal well, yeah, 13 federal counts of impersonating the president.
wow.
So
Wow.
that's and so that so yeah, so I started using AI about 5 years ago and started writing articles and stuff like that on my blog. And then I just started getting into all the tools. And then I got into Pinocchio about a year and a half ago, and GitHub and Google Colabs and vibe coding, and just rabbit holed for the last like 3 years hard. And now I'm like, yeah, I put out this course about 3 days ago. That's a AI mastery course, basically teaching you everything about the history, different types, use cases, prompt engineering. Then I go through about 10 or 15 of the top, LLM platforms, even wrappers. So we go into like Bolt, and we websim.ai, show people how to make their own video games or how to make their own programs, as
Wow.
well as how to make images, videos, songs. So that's one whole module. And then after that, it's how to put it all together and use it with like an N8N workflow or Zapier. And then after that, there's a
Wow.
whole bonus section on how to make your own logo, how to be your own brand, whether you want to be part of the brand or like the face of it, or if you want to just have like a logo be the brand or a character, and how that's built and why, and all the psychology behind it and psychology behind colors and everything. So then I teach you how to do a logo, how to make your own clothing brand, how to write your own book in a week. So all of that is in the course for $100.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's like I don't know what else I could do for people. I'm trying to show them AI is the way. We have no choice. So get in or be left behind quite quickly.
Are you doing these on like a platform like what is that? Udemy? I'm looking it up now to make sure it's right. U D
So
E
I'm
M.
using actually Go High Level,
Hmm.
which I have found to be absolutely ridiculous. And if you really get into Go High Level, you can find out quite quickly all the automations that you can do, and let alone what you can do when you have those automations and then add in workflows that you can do with like N8N. So it it's almost like having AGI. It's super close to it, but it's not there. Like we have a lot of things that are out there that can do things, has OCR and so on and so forth, but there's nothing out there that's fully agentic in its ability, where it can just like, oh, I have this idea and I want this and I'm going to go to this and make this and code
Right.
this. Right? We have nothing there yet, but we have a lot of things that are super close. There's some swarms that you can build and stuff like that are GitHub repositories, or using some proprietary websites, where they use like a Google API key. I'm sorry, uh, an Open AI key, or any of the LLMs, and then they have a swarm, and then you can use it that way, and so on and so forth. So there are ways, but there's not like the everything that we all dream of, which is like our own Jarvis bot that we just talk to, and it creates
Mhm.
3D awesome renderings in front of us that we get to touch with our hands.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
need that. Come on. You need to pay
So
Alexa to do that.
yeah, dude. Of all the ones,
Yeah.
Alexa. Oh, and by the way, dude, speaking of Apple, they just pushed out some really, really cool AI in the last week and a half, which they were lagging quite quite desperately. Um,
Yeah,
so
they're actually weird. They're lagging in everything right now, if you think about it.
who, me?
Or they're just holding
Apple,
it,
they're like
hiding it
lagging
deeply.
in everything, from like Web3, blockchain, AI, the
Yeah.
hardware in their device. It's just all in general. It feels like Apple is like at that.
They became
you
a
did-
lot like NASA.
Well, I was thinking more like BlackBerry. Remember how like what Apple did to BlackBerry?
Oh, yeah, I was about to say they got
it's
destroyed.
starting to feel like that is like happening right now.
For sure.
Bless you.
They're doing it to themselves.
Yeah. They didn't do enough R&D. They didn't care enough. I mean, look at what they did with the last iPhone. Basically nothing. I mean, and the AI that they promised, which was supposed to be this
Siri.
awesome, badass, cool thing, ended up being a couple apps that don't work. Yeah, no, Apple's really behind the times, but like I said, they just put out some stuff where you're like, okay, maybe there's a chance here, you know. Um, but as far as like all the stuff, man, my prediction, and this is really quick, so I'm even guessing on myself when I say this, but I'm saying November is AGI.
No way, that soon.
Yeah, man, and everybody else is saying about 2 years from now, but I have a really weird feeling that something's coming quick because everything that I've heard and everybody that I'm listening to, and we're talking about, you know, the top of the top, um, you know, Mo Gadot, Jeffrey Hinton, these guys, you know, I'm listening to their stuff on a daily, like connected to their Instagram and waiting for their next tweet kind of stuff, you know? So they're all saying 2 years, like at most. And the reason is because of all the money, the infrastructure. I mean, look at Project Stargate with what they did here in the United States, $500 billion connecting OpenAI, Ellison with what's it called, Oracle, and then this other Chinese investor guy, and they're doing this massive infrastructure. It's 1,000 times greater in information and power than what ChatGPT has.
Wow.
And that's, you know, and then there was a $500 million expansion that's happening in Texas right now. That's all about, you know, server space and having enough power.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're building a bunch of data centers out here in Oklahoma. They just
Yeah,
got like
man.
$1 billion grant from Google to build like these giant data centers. Like we'll build more data centers out here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
do
they're
you
doing the
think,
same thing with West Texas and you know, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, do you think there are going to be different like price points for different types of AI? Like, is there going to be like AI that I'll never be able to afford to interact with because it's just priced out, and
So
that's like
that's
the
already
AI
happening.
that? Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Then you have
so-
you some yeehaw AI where he's like, "Yay, man, don't worry, I got you back."
So the only reason that I say
For the
that
cheap.
is because right now it's so expensive, right? But because of Moore's law, and not that Moore's law really computes with computer processing anymore, but the conceptual idea of Moore's law and the parabolic, you know, line that we see go up and fast and unlike anything we've seen before. Many of the people who were saying 2040 are now saying 2030 at most because of the speed of, like, look at what happened with AlphaFold, 18,000 proteins in like a week, you know, and that's today, you know, or even just a couple years ago. So yeah, man, I think that we're in the race for almost like a space race again, against China, against India, against all the people who are doing backdoor whatever they can to try and create something like they did with DeepSeek.
Yeah.
You know,
What was the AI in India that was using people? It wasn't AI, it was actual I.
Yeah, it's like it was 1,000 some odd people.
It was
answering questions.
BI, basic intelligence.
Dude, that to me was like that's like the story about how like that swindler sold the Eiffel Tower or whatever. Like it's like one of those levels of like that's historical rug shit. Shout out to Niner and Randy and everybody. I do see the chat. I saw Niner was asking, how could he position himself, what to invest in or what to do, what tools to use. I will say, I think what Paul's doing is probably the best move. Learn as much as you can and charge people to learn from what you've learned.
Right.
Curate your knowledge and teach people. And then those people learn as much as you can. People that learn from Paul are going to go out and teach people as well. And you're so early. It's just like, getting people to. In 2017, people were happy to give me $100 an hour just to teach them how to set up a paper wallet.
Right.
So like this
Oh, yeah.
in AI, the knowledge is the value, and for $100 for Paul's course, then go out and be able to figure out how to put your own course together. That's easily replicatable because we're so early. There's so little people that know what Paul knows and what he put together in that course that if you were to digest what Paul put together and curate it, you could make your own. I'm not saying copy and paste my man's homework, but like take it into your own, perspective, and then maybe people that may not understand it from like, Paul's course, like exactly how he curated it, maybe you'll be able to speak to those people because like everybody learns and then teaches what they've learned differently.
Yep.
So like just definitely my advice, Niner, would be to like learn as much as you can because we're about to be in this like employment prompt race where people are going to want to hire people who know how to use prompts. It might sound stupid, but like so did like Excel spreadsheets. And if you actually paid attention in high school how to use an Excel spreadsheet, you're making more money than most people in high school that did not pay attention just because you knew how to use Microsoft Excel. So like that matters. And I think like what we're in this moment with AI, even if you just knew how to use like the equivalent of like an Excel spreadsheet's worth of knowledge, you're going to be able to go really far in a corporate or enterprise environment. Are you looking to work for a company? You're starting your own, or are you just focusing on like the courses and stuff? Like where do you see like your?
Already. Yeah.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying like for like the long play, is that like that's the goal? Is like have a class that people keep coming to, or is it something bigger? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so the long play on the course is to have like a weekly meetup with all the course members and like do a 1 hour and then answer questions Zoom style and then post that as a YouTube series afterwards, right? So everybody on the inner circle and then like maybe a week later that video comes out while the new one is being recorded, right? So there's that. But then the other idea is because of the website and the name of the website, and I guess I'll pitch it. It's called awesomeinstructions.com.
Awesome
think-
instructions.
Yeah, I like that.
So
Hold
I
on, let me ask ChatGPT how to spell your domain. that's the fucking world we live in, bro.
Dude, right? For real, dude. I don't know how to write instructions. What is
Spell
that?
it out.
I use a
Sound
Z.
it out.
I use a Z, right? And so yeah, so you're fucking hilarious. I love you. But yeah, so because of that, I can then have like a homepage. What I want to do is do affiliates to all the other programs that I think that are really dope out there.
Oh, respect. So not just curating what you know, but curating the other classes that are out there that So if somebody were to take your course and come up with their own dope course, you could also recommend somebody to take that course with your course. Yeah. See
Or
what I'm
even just
saying?
right. Yeah. Right. So the idea, and also to like kind of pitch ball the concept of what you were saying about my course. So I know somebody who took my course and then just took the picture part of it, like just making images, and that's all he did. And then he started printing images using Printful and then doing these mock-ups of these things and then just showing them as if he had sold them to other people in their homes and started selling these prints for like $1,500 a pop.
Wow.
And they were like literally like what you see behind me, like this kind of image, but it was like his own like 3D version of them that he was doing.
Nice.
And then he got into like the LGBTQ thing, and he started making planets that were different colors based on the different LGBTQ.
Oh, that's clever.
Bro, he made so much money.
That is
So much
really
money,
clever.
dude. And it was just off of something as simple as that, you know?
Well, this is what
Um,
Miggy was talking about the other day. We were doing a podcast, and it was just me and him riffing. But he was talking about people using AI as more of like a tool rather than to replace the people, right? Like, so that's a good example, Miggy, of like an artist using AI as like a brush rather than
Yeah.
set it and forget it.
yeah, and and granted, like he was like he's going into Photoshop and like really actually playing around and doing stuff and trying to create something so that AI is not fully invested in the thing. And so yeah, and then he was making these images, these posters and these paintings like lithographs, you know, that you get printed from Printify that gets delivered to the person. So there's no merchandise. He has nothing he has to print himself. All the returns get done by the company. It's like, what
I
more
just
do you
had an
need?
idea. You should use your AI knowledge to use AI to make marketing material for your course as its own proof of concept. You know what I'm saying? Like sort of how like Atari made Pong.
You're so funny. So like I'm
That'd be hilarious.
absolutely right now. I just posted about it. I'm really upset. But so about 3 months ago, I wrote out using ChatGPT this concept, which was going to be this AI. It's three separate AIs that are like workflows that all interact with one AI, which is sort of kind of like the CEO of this company. And so each one has its own N8N workflow. So like one for marketing, and it does everything. It writes the ad copy, it makes the images, it can make videos for you,
Oh,
and
that's
and it
clutch.
can disseminate for you, right? And I have that in my course, by the way. It's actually a link to a YouTube video where a guy gives you the entire thing with the N8N workflow and how to actually, you know, integrate it into your own life. So it's like, I don't know how much more I could do in my course. You know, I even made a ChatGPT bot, which you can ask questions to about the course and
Oh,
everything that's
that's
in the
fucking
course.
clever. See, that's meta. I
Like,
like that. I like that.
like, I
No,
just want.
how evergreen is this information because of how often everything is advancing and updating and like we're on
Yeah.
ChatGPT 4 now. How
Yeah.
evergreen is course information around AI and how often do you think it will have to be like, what you learned last month may not be relevant to this month. We're on Windows XP, Windows 95, like it keeps changing on us.
Yeah, I think the course will eventually get to a place where it's irrelevant, right? And I think that
Mm.
and I keep saying this year to you, but 2 years from now, I really feel as though we will have the ability to walk up to a computer and type in a prompt of some sort, like all three of us could like do a Zoom style meeting, okay,
Yeah.
in which we have like weird, cool headsets that allow us to walk around, but yet also know our space and yet also put us all together within our own spaces so that we're all like in a world together and then we're like yo we're gonna do um the I don't know Pirates of the Caribbean and we all pick characters and then we like have this ability to choose to not play the movie and not play the script and become our own thing and literally take the pirate ship and go off course and do whatever we want together as a group with these AR haptic full on body suits that shoot sense into our nose and the whole deal. Um, and I also think we're not too far away from robots fully taking over. And I just posted about this company. They made the first ro- proto-human robot, which uses water and a pump on the inside of it to circulate uh, liquid into its tendons that work like these balloons. And then it has a mesh around the balloon so the balloon can only expand so far or only contract so far. And then they put a bunch of these all over, and now they've created an entire body that can actually pick up really heavy objects because it's no longer air, because that's how it started. They're using, hydraulic pumped water into these
Mm.
tendons, and they're actually able to hold weight 15, 20 pounds. So now they're working on making it bipedal. And so it's the first robot that went away from motors,
Hmm.
and they're using nothing but these like tendon style and it's really crazy looking. It looks like the movie or the TV show Westworld.
Oh yeah, I've seen
They
that.
look
Yeah.
identical to those, dude. Like
Wow.
scary. They have the same white skin. It's a mesh style skin, which he says the owner says that when they do it, they're gonna obviously put like a real skin onto the body. Um, it has haptic feedback in the hand, so when they throw a ball, it can actually feel it and catches it really quickly. It's like a quarter of a second slower than a human right now. Um, in its haptic feel and catch kind of thing. You know what I mean?
So
So,
it's
so
like basically a stoned human.
yeah, well, so it
Yeah.
doesn't walk yet.
This is you on pot. Put these glasses on.
But my point is, and I was just talking to a client today about his project, and he's like, I have this idea, and I don't want to get into it because of NDAs, but the idea was sort of kind of a VR platform that is a holodeck style kind of concept. And I was like, I went through all the reasons on why this thing wouldn't work for him. And he didn't, he was really like, but why, but why, but why, and I'm like, the market's not in that direction. Like, look at what the market's paying for, and you can see the market is walking away from event space locations, dark room locations are kind of walking away. Even the Sphere in Vegas, which was supposed to be this thing, is losing stupid amounts of money per day when it's not being
Right.
Yeah.
used. Even like movie theaters after everything that happened with COVID, after all the things that are going on in the world and the crazy and the people and everybody's just going nuts. People don't want to be in dark rooms by themselves, weirdly. And the only thing that's working in the VR space right now, and even these companies are losing money, are the three largest companies where you go to a hard location, a brick and mortar location in which you have to put on a bunch of gear, sometimes a
Yeah.
whole backpack or a gun in your hand or whatever, just to
Yep.
play out a
Yeah,
game.
they got that here in Vegas, and it is pretty popular. It's at like Planet 15, and it's VR meets like physical shit. So they'll put you on like a fake motorcycle kind of thing, but you put the headset on, and then you're actually physically touching a motorcycle, and it feels like you're really there on the track. And then they have ones where like you're skydiving and stuff, but like you're hanging off like this thing. Yeah.
There's a new one that's out of it's called Flight. They're out of New Jersey, I believe, is where they first started. I believe they have about 7 locations now, but they're doing indoor. It's such a great idea. Indoor skydiving, like with those engines that, the motors that push up. So they're using one of those, and then they're using VR, and then they're putting you into an actual like squirrel suit, like a flight suit, and then they have a way to pump air into the flight suit so that it gets rigid, because that's how they actually work in real life. When you jump, it actually starts to catch air, and then the entire thing becomes rigid, and that's what you're using to fly, right? And so they have this system where instead they pump air into it after you jump, and it feels like you've caught air, and then this other thing is pushing you from underneath, and there's a
That's so
cable that's
cool.
keeping you in place, and you're absolutely like feeling like you're full on, going down a cliff, and you're the whole deal.
Yeah, I
And
could see that being way more like appealing to me than just like being in my room with a headset on.
well, yeah, but I mean, how far does it take before you are able to do Black Mirror style, something that hits your air, your what's this area called? Your temple.
Temple.
Yeah, and then before you know it, it's connecting to your neural processes, and it's able to make your brain make certain, chemicals, and then before you know it, serotonin kicks in, and you're in La La Land, and you just had sex with Pamela
Well,
Anderson.
if
I
this
don't
new
know.
Grand Theft Auto makes $1 trillion like they're saying it is, I think the next PlayStation 6 will probably be something like that.
In your brain.
I think the new Grand Theft Auto video game is on track. I've heard to like make 4 times all of Hollywood's money or some shit.
Yeah.
Like all of the profit that Hollywood has profited ain't shit compared to how much money the game Grand Theft Auto is like projected to make.
I mean, just the
crazy.
in-game play and the secondary market that's there that people do, and glitch out the system from just the first, second, third, fourth. I know guys that have become multi bajillionaires and they still play to this day in GTA, and they scam the system and they find a way, and then they just sit there for weeks on end.
But there is,
collecting.
that's what I'm saying is
My
there's
nephew.
money, there is money there. Like the development for that stuff will probably either come from like the porn industry or gaming industry, but either way, the incentive is there. It's like
Yeah.
money on the table. Somebody will build that thing that you're describing a lot sooner than later. Because again, we have AI to get us there. We've developed.
Right.
Look at this guy. We have built bridges, skyscrapers. We have thousands of pounds of metal flying hundreds of miles and tens of thousands of feet in the sky. And we did it all without AI. What do you think we're about to get shit done with AI? Like, how fast, how much better? Like, I mean, we're about to hit some crazy ass S curve when it comes to like technological innovation because of AI can like run all these things that would take scientists in a room and research and development months or years to figure out, or even like come up with ideas that we don't have time to think. Like, we don't know all these different things, and AI's like, hey, how about this idea? Like, how did AI put all those things together to make this new thing that didn't exist? So what I'm saying is we're probably going to have that thing you're describing so much faster than we expect because
Yep.
AI will develop it itself. Like a
Well, look,
self-fulfilling physical prophecy.
Google just put out about 2 months ago. Well, they put it out a while ago, but it was in like, hidden from everybody and still kind of in beta. But it's this ability to go up and type in whatever you want, and it creates a world that you can use WSAD and walk around in it. And they have this now, right? And then since then, there's been 4 other models that have come out, and they've extended it. So now you can actually have a gun and shoot things. You can have another one that and now you can add letters and tell the game what you want those letters to be. And games are being built in real time just from a prompt and an image. So, and that's today. So if that's happening today, and these are infinite worlds in the sense that once you start moving in this world, it's not going to stop generating.
Right.
And it's generating per I don't know, some crazy number of images as you're moving forward. And how long does it take before we get a 60 hertz rate? And then how long does it take before, you add in AI characters instead of having NPCs? And then, like I said, how much longer before? Look, Sony has contact lenses that they have patents for taking images and seeing the image in a contact lens. And these were 15 years ago. So, all these ideas are definitely on their way. And like, I was talking about AlphaFold and folding of proteins. They're now making something called protein engines. And these engines have stators and clutches, and they're able to make these, and maybe you've seen it before. It's like a little 3D image of like this weird looking creature that has like these legs, and it flips them forward, and then it walks a little bit, and it flips them forward, and it walks a little bit, and it's like on a protein level, and it can carry a obscene amount of weight. So what they've done was they found these proteins in particular and put them on this little like circular path and forced them to be where they can only walk in one spot, like almost kind of corralled them. And now they have this thing that's turning underneath, which then creates the clutch to hit, and then it turns like a motor. So they've literally created a protein motor made with human. Yeah, dude. So if we're there now, and what we're doing with CRISPR, I'm gonna go really crazy for you guys. I believe what's happening very soon is that there's going to be the acceptance or the non-acceptance of transhumanism. And that is like transgender on, a crack level, baby, crack baby. I don't know what to tell you. It's like some crazy.
Yeah, no, but I am with you on that. I think the saving grace is going to be the elephant in the room, which is religion. That thing that's. I think like we weren't even able to study. Yeah, well, exactly, or anti-religious. Like the church will be against AI. I think in some sense.
Well, no,
or something.
I mean, like I think what's going to happen actually.
It's create its own religion.
It's going to create. It's going to do a couple things. I think a chasm, which will create a canyon between those who are like hippies and are like total Burning Man and like into tech, but they're not into the takeover, and they'll go live in their communes, and they'll go live in like, I'm away from society, screw that crazy. And then the AI will destroy that which we know of as ethics and morals, and it will either be that which works or does not work over a millennia. If you don't like it, shut up. Right? Because I know
Yeah.
better. I'm 15,000 times stronger and smarter than you at this point. And this is only like, and I've done the math on this. If right now you could say the equivalency is 150 IQ, the next iteration is 1,500, and the next iteration is then 15,000. And that's only 5 to 10 years away at the 15,000 rate. And now we're talking ASI, crazy. It's absolutely taken over, right? It's in everything. And we can't, it's like, how do you kill Bitcoin? You can't, right? There's no way to kill
Right.
Bitcoin. It's the same kind of thing. How do you kill an ASI system that's embedded itself into everything? You can't. And so this is the fear that everybody has in the AI world, of the people who actually know what they're talking about, the guys who are in the labs, the people I'm on the phones with. They are worried because there's no security protocol for any of the stuff that we're talking about. For instance, API keys have super open back doors for people to go in and do whatever they want. Prompts from like a prompt on a Delta website, you can go in and they have like an AI that's connected, and then there's a guy who made a video on this. He went in and like prompt engineered with like this weird text coding. It's like hashtags and numbers and letters and numbers and big letters and all this code that he's writing, and he's writing that into the prompt of the bot that's supposed to help you on the Delta website, and he gets free code that allows him to get free flights, and he
That's
bought himself a
awesome.
first plane ticket. Right. And now, mind you, this was like, at a hacker convention, so it was totally legal and yada, yada. He's not going to actually do it, but he's proving the point is that all of these companies are not aware of any of the stuff that I'm talking about for the most part. They just want to fire people and make more money because their only job, true job, is not to have any ethics and morals. It's to make more money for the shareholders, period. And they don't care about anything else. And the other thing they don't care about is who wins. They only want to be on the team that does win. And right now we're on a space race to who has AGI first. And this is why I come back to my November prophecy thing. I'm doing it for a couple of reasons. One, there's a meteor that's supposed to be here in November. That's some weird piece of space junk that's flying that doesn't act like space junk, that's faster than
Oh,
space
that's
junk.
the thing. It's
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And supposedly has started sending messages to us that we're deciphering. I don't know if any of that's true.
All I know about it is it's got weird trajectory, and it's not of like a natural trajectory the way it
So
moves.
that's one piece of it. And then the other piece of it is that there was this other one that's called Oumuamua or something like that. And it was found on the laboratory in Hawaii, which is why it's named after a god. And so it's the only object that we've ever seen that came into our solar system where it's supposed to lose speed based on the fact that the sun and the gravitational pull would actually pull it towards the sun while it's going. And it actually gained speed on the way outside of our. So it's never happened. It can't happen. It's not supposed to happen. Like, we don't understand it. And we didn't have enough time to actually measure it because it was moving so quickly. And so now that this new one's coming in, so here's weird things about this one. It's passing by not one, but 3 planetary systems in our solar system. It is the equivalent of a needle in a haystack at 10 to the 9th level for it to ever go by only one planet, let alone 3. It is on the opposite side of the sun when it's the closest to the Earth. So the fact that this thing has all of these things that they're like, how, so that we couldn't measure it, right? Because it's on the other side of the sun. So as soon as it comes to us, it's going to be directly on the other side of the sun, and we're here. We can't see it. So it could do whatever it wants on that side. It could be carrying, I don't know, 8 million spaceships behind it. Who knows what's going on? I'm guessing, right? Totally guessing and playing conspiracy theory bubble here. But nonetheless, another thing is, as a meteor, it doesn't work because it doesn't have any kind of gaseous form coming out of it, where most of them have like some kind of tail, and that's usually helium that has been frozen. And then what you're seeing is that when it comes through and it hits like the sun and the radiation, it starts to peel off, and then that's where you see these lines behind comets or behind
Right.
a meteor. It's not doing that, but it's gaining speed. So it's like, yo, what's going on, right? So I think, and here's my weird conspiracy theory. I believe that AI is not part of time and space, and that what we are doing through technology is that we are learning how to bring new things into our dimensional space, and we are bringing in on some level the devil. I
Mhm.
know this is going to sound weird, but the devil is supposed to be known as a character that can speak all languages, that can cure all diseases, and that can do anything that you want it to do and take you to any place you want to go. But by doing so, you give up something which is the most important part of yourself, which is yourself. And so, this is why I worry about how 70%, 80%, 90% of people will not have work in 2032 by all means, because
Right.
if this robot that I just talked about becomes real and it can do anything, it can even become a plumber or a roofer or a this or a that or a welder or an anything that is the work that keeps the world a working, the infrastructure of the world working, then all of the people who live in India, all the people who live in Pakistan that have been working in, Dubai and here and these world horrible conditions, now you just have 10,000 bots and you go, where do you want the next, $1 million mansion? I've got these bots and these robots that shoot out concrete, can make a house in one day. And then these other bots can do whatever you want to the outside, inside, whatever you need. And before you know it, boom, 3 days later, you've got a mansion. And if you can do that at scale, and Elon's talking about making 3 million robots, talking about 3 robots per human.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and there's 6 different companies that are all being funded right now to make robots. So take the intelligence, and right now, these bots, or not these bots, these large language models that we have, um, which are narrow field models. Like all the models that we have are narrow field models. None of them are really the thing yet, as I was saying earlier. But narrow field models can do some crazy stuff, like play video games or figure
Right.
out the DNA code or AlphaFold or CRISPR or any of these crazy things, right? But it can only do that thing. Now, the
Right.
thing that Google is trying to do is use all of the different AIs that it's created over the years, i.e., maps and this and that and the other, and they're trying to connect all of them together to create one Google Mind. And that's the ultimate ticket. And I think that's also what Elon is trying to do with Tesla. So Tesla's not, and he said this before, he's like, Tesla is not a car company, it's an AI robotics company. And he's been saying that since day one. And the reason that he's been making these models for cars to be able to understand the world is so that first you have to understand the world on a macro scale so that you can then break it down into a micro scale. And that when you do that, you now have the bots that are in doing the street and walking the actual street corners. And there you go. Now you mapped out the entire everything.
Yeah,
See what I'm
and with
saying, right?
with Starlink and mesh netting and all that stuff coming
Mhm.
into like play, it's easily doable
Oh,
without
yeah.
without even having to use mainstream internet. Interesting guest. Earth is flat, sun is cold. The chat's funny.
That's great. I love
I
it.
wanted to ask you, Paul, like, how are you using AI in Web3? Are you using AI to
Yeah.
do any crypto trading? Are you looking to like use it to, make a meme token? Or is there anything in your course that will teach people how to use AI to do things like that?
So the closest thing that would be in my course to do that is just how to do a workflow and make your own workflow using N8N or using Claude Anthropic or a ChatGPT to write the JSON code for you to then plop it into N8N and then run it that way. Um, that would be the closest thing, right? Or creating your own app using one of these rapper style. So I don't want to say that the course is going to get you that deep into this because it's not meant for that. Like, and I say that somewhere at the beginning of the thing, you know, like this is by no means a college degree course, but it is me with the last 5 years of my life, and then saying, okay, you want to learn AI? Here's the absolute beginner's guide to mastery that I can give you, that I can that without like without pulling any punches and without not going through it. Like I'm going through the history. Like who wants to know the
Right.
history of AI? Like I don't really need to give you
That was my least favorite part of art class. I remember the first day in high school I went to art class and we had to do the history of art. And I'm like, who gives a fuck about the origins of the circle? Fuck this class. And I went right to woodshop. And guess what? Woodshop day one, they let me turn the bandsaw on. The bandsaw, bro. I was like, yeah, this is my kind of class.
I know where I'm at. Yeah.
Good.
I wasn't even allowed to draw a circle day one. Yeah, so that could be a definite turnoff to like getting into AI is that overwhelming, boring knowledge that people aren't. It's not practical. It's
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
In
do
order
it
to use the
anyways.
Excel spreadsheet, you didn't need to know all the Excel history.
Right, but I do it
Right.
anyways as a way of saying like, yo, here's a really quick module. I'd go through it really quickly. If you want a deep dive, here's an entire book I've written on this, 220 pages. Here's a Chat GPT bot. Here's a couple more, you know, videos you can watch on your own. I'm done. Let's go to module 2. And here are the different types of AI. You know, get it and go. I don't want to make you sit here for an hour. Like no more than 9 to 10 minutes, you know. I give you the
Yeah.
idea. I give you the concept. We fill you in, show you how to work something here. Oh, look, this is Udio. This is how you make your own song. This is how you write, you know, what style you want. Oh, look, there's some other functions here. You can put in your own text and you can do this. And guys, this is Udio, and you make songs in 30 seconds. I don't know much
Oof,
more.
that's
much more you need
convenient.
to know.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to learn
The
how to
basic
use AI.
framework.
Right, I want to learn how to use AI to make like the podcasting stuff more seamless and streamlined. You know, like Restream watches the podcast and then it gives me 5 AI clips. Like it uses AI to watch the whole podcast that we do, and then it gives me 5 clips with the text on the screen and everything. And
the
so
format of the video.
Right, and like to be able to use AI more for that, like let the AI read or listen to our whole podcast, right? And then have AI talk about our podcast and do like a breakdown or review or something. Like that's what I want to use AI to do.
Okay,
Like,
so you can do that today, as a matter of fact, like right. So I mean, there's actions that you're gonna have to do, but you could automate these actions, which would be at the end of each YouTube file that gets uploaded, like at the end of a live, as soon as that happens, you could say, okay, now get the transcript, take the transcript and go to Notebook LM. And Notebook LM is in Google Labs, which allows you to create a 2-person podcast. And you could say, here's this transcript. Now make a podcast about this transcript. And they will
crazy.
literally talk for 5 to 10 minutes about the actual podcast
Oh, cool.
and who
Yo.
was on the podcast and what the conversations were about. And
Oh, that's
you
really
know.
cool.
Oh, it's great. It's called Notebook LM. And they even have now a video style where you can click on it and it makes like a video presentation of what the podcast was about. Notebook LM on Google Labs. And by the way, Google Labs is a treasure trove of amazing, cool, fun things you can do. They have something called Whisk, which was right before, you know, Google Banana came out, which is super badass, by the way. But you were able to take an image and make it a subject, and then take another image and make it the style, and then make another image and then make it the like environment, and it would then put all 3 of those images together and then make you a new thing. So like I do a workflow where I turn myself into a Funko Pop doll.
Oh,
And
nice.
then once I'm a Funko Pop doll, I add a photo into the into the environment, and then I put my Funko Pop doll as though it's like a Funko Pop doll standing outside of its own box with my name on it, and the number is now the number that I changed, and whatever I want the letters to be. So it changes to my own Funko Pop doll box, right?
Right.
And so, and I teach that in the course as a just as a like look at what you can do, look at these
Mm.
fun, cool things. Like Leonardo AI has this really cool thing now where it will build as you're texting.
To my
So if
own
you start
Funko Pop
putting
doll box,
two,
right?
it'll
Right.
like make two images of something, and then you're like rhinos, and then two rhinos pop up, and then Mexican, and then now they're Mexican rhinos, banditos, you know. And this, I always do two rhinos dressed as Mexican bandinos drinking tea in front of an RV in the desert. So I always do that for all of my LLMs to see the consistency level and to see if it's able to do it.
Nice. That's
And
smart.
yeah, you know, because you want to have something that's super weird and crazy, but also like things that are definitive that the AI will definitely have to create. And if it doesn't, then you go, okay, well, this one kind of sucks, or it's, you know, it's just the consistency is not there, so on and so forth. So yeah, so but I mean now it's so hard to even do that. I mean, with Nano Banana, for instance, you can just take 12 images, just any images you want, right? And upload them. And you could say, this person, i.e., let's say face of Trump or whoever. And I just posted a video about this that somebody else did, but he's like, this person, face of Trump, with this clothing and this car. And he's leaning against the car and he's holding this cup, which has, you know, I love Trump or something kind of whatever. And 2 seconds later, that image is created, 35
Yeah.
millimeter, looks as real as possible, you know? And you're like, whoa. Or take an old image of Einstein, crumpled up, you know, black and white photo, and then say, fix the image, make it perfect. And it does. And then you go, okay, take the person that's in this image and now put it to this image, which is a person doing yoga. And then all of a sudden you have Einstein in color doing yoga.
Would you ever consider doing a similar course like this, but that's more directed towards AI solutions that are for like blockchain or Web3 stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, now that you're talking about it, and you're asking me about it. I, I, I would
I mean, I
like
feel
to
like that's the
find.
next iteration because like AI, you know, just like now with everything that's going on, there's all the normal stuff, and then there's the Web3, you know, blockchain application of it, you know, and I think progressively AI is going to be the same. There's the AI tooling, but a lot of that is going to funnel into the blockchain technology, which is already being, you know, utilized and expanding. And so I
Mhm.
think that's something that people will look for. You know, they're going to look for AI, they're going to look for what they can use it for, and the next big thing is, you know, crypto, NFTs, blockchain and such. And so it'd
Yeah,
be
I
cool
think
to,
that that's going to happen almost naturally, you know, like it did with all the other things that jumped into crypto and tried to create an NFT when that craze happened or when the
right,
metaverse craze happened. I believe, as I was saying earlier, right now the reason that you can't do like you and I know you have to have seen this, and this happened 2 years ago, so I know you can do it today. But a guy created a agentic kind of system where he had a CEO and a marketing bot and a this bot and a that bot and whatever, and he put it out into the open, and the thing made like $5,000 in 1 week by
wow,
creating its own business and its own TikToks and its own everything. And so that was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago that someone did that. And so that it takes money, it takes server space, it takes the ability to have keys like that have a lot of money on them for, you know, these systems to be able to make all these calls and do all these actions where you're not hyper involved. Um, and I think that price is going to come down further and further and further to the point where a guy in a laptop in Prague is going to make an AGI system that would be able to kind of, you know, almost like DeepSeek, like what happened with, I mean, look at what they did,
right,
you know, with like a tenth of the price. Um, and now there's other models. Like there was one I think that came out about four months ago, which was this self-propagating question and self-propagating answer kind of model, which is unlike what a neural network works on, right? Most neural networks based on the idea of like you give it information and then it kind of gives you a machine.
mm,
And really, if study how it's done, we're really growing these things. Like it's the best way to explain a neural network that is like a ChatGPT or a Claude or any of them. you're kind of growing them, and then you're hedging and patching places of security that you don't want answers to come out. That's the best way to explain large language models today, guys. Like, and I mean that in every single way. Anybody who's super big will know that I'm telling you the truth. They have no idea how these models actually get the answer that they get. They just know that you put more information in, and based on the neural network, it gives you answers back. And then there's even stuff that it does that they didn't know it could do. For instance, first ChatGPT couldn't do math, and even doing three number combinations was absolutely impossible for it. So its second iteration, which would be 3, was able to do some complex math. And now 4 and quote unquote 5 are able to do what are called millennial questions. So questions that have been in the math world for what we would say 1,000 years or whatever, that we haven't been able to answer, that they are now coming to very, very deep understandings that we are like, what is this? Like, what is this? And that's today, guys.
Right.
So the next iteration, the next thing that comes out, whatever that next thing is going to be so powerful that it's already scary to me. And this is why I'm giving us this 2-year mark. And I keep saying 2 years, because what's happening is that, like, look at the law in Europe that just passed, where you have to have an ID if you're going to use Spotify or YouTube, if you're watching certain content. And now they're doing the same thing in the United States. We already had Edward Snowden. We already know they're watching us. They're recording this conversation by all means. When you're putting Ken Bozak, making crypto, and Paul Carpenter on the same field, they're definitely recording us. So again, I'm the Biden robocall, and I'm still in the AI world, and I'm pushing the envelope in the AI world. I have the only musical that was accepted by the American Writers Guild before they stopped allowing AI content in. I got it in under the table, like right at the last second. So, and I've done all kinds of stuff like that is subversive AI, hacker mentality, the thing that we are, and it's not in a way of trying to be disrespectful. It's a matter of saying, like, this is the thing that we're in, dude. Like, this is the thing. Like, leave your mark in every single place that you can, because this is the thing that everybody's going to look back at. These are the times, these are the moments when you're going to say we lived in a technological renaissance unlike anything that ever experienced by humankind. There's new things that are being invented literally every day right now. So it's I think on one level it's really cool because there's no more cancer, and there's no more Alzheimer's, and there's no more all these things that are but then you start going down a very quick primrose path of eugenics, of what is the perfect human, and how do we make that. And before we get to that,
forever.
yeah, all of it. And then before we get to that, we have the weirdos that want to have like a cattail. And, this is 7-8 years ago, they were able to genetically print a ear, and then they shaved the back of a rat, and they were able to attach the vascular system of the ear that they printed to the rat, and that ear lived and didn't decompose, didn't get pushed off by the rat's body. Like, it stayed on. So if we can do that 10 years ago, and you can look this up, it's there, it's out there. Like, everything I say is completely verifiable. If you have that 10 years ago, and you have CRISPR today, right? Which you're able to change live genetic makeup, and then you're like, I want a tail, and I want to put it on my the back of my bone, and attach it, and genetically somehow or another in that section of my body make it happen with CRISPR. Bro, you got people walking around the streets of New York with holes cut out their genes.
Yeah, it's gonna be the metaverse in real life.
In
and,
real life, bro.
yeah.
100. Yeah. So we're coming to a place where I believe when AGI happens, there's going to be a shift in the financial system of the world. And it's going to go in our direction, but then very quickly snap back to where it is and even further and harder. And the reason for that is the same reason I said a second ago. Like, if you look at all of the different rapper style businesses that have been created, every single one of the large language models have made a version of it. Sam's Club style, bring in anybody, but then as soon as that product does really well, we'll sell a cheaper version of that product on our service. You're already paying $20 a month. We can add it in for free. It's no big deal because it's just a wrapper of us anyways. Screw that company. And you're going to start to see this like commodification of all these AIs. Not so much an explosion outwards, but quite the opposite, where it's going to start coming like into itself and it's just going to start building it itself because it can at scale.
Yeah, like a 3D printer that prints 3D printers that prints 3D printers.
Right. And then each 3D printer is the version that's better than the one it was a second ago.
Right.
That's what fear is for those who are in control. Because if you look at control over time, the first piece of control was based on the what I call the fallen apple theory, which is this old guy. He sees an apple falls down and it rolls away from a tree, and another tree is born and raised, and then he raises a child, and he teaches this child to go out and get apples and make them and put them into the ground 15 feet away from all of them. And then as that guy is getting older, before you know it, he has an apple orchard. And then all these people are coming to him and going, hey, you have lots of apples. I want apples. And he goes, cool, what do you got? And they go, well, I got chickens. Cool, I'll take 2 of your chickens. No problem. So then all of a sudden he's got a bunch of chickens all of a sudden. And then he does it with the sheep. And then he does it with the cows. And then he does it with this and that. And before you know it, he's the king. Only because he learned a lesson that nobody else learned, which was that I need to just cultivate this thing to grow itself out. And it will then give me multiple of that thing. And if you don't teach that lesson, then the next thing you need is who has the biggest weapon. So first it's the idea, then it's control over that idea through weaponry, through swords, and then through guns, and then through nuclear bombs. And then the next phase is based on technology of information, which now we have this digital age, we have the web, we have, the 90s. And then what we're doing is digitizing all of humanity to create a Tower of Babel, if you will, that is AI, that can give you anything and put you anywhere and have you live in any situation. And so how do we pay for that? Oh, we get the robots to live, and then we tax the robots and tax the corporations 1,000%. Look, Tesla's even talked about this already, where if you have a Tesla car, when all the cars can drive themselves, you can go to work and put your Tesla into the Uber Tesla network, and it will drive around and pick people up all day and collect money for you and pay off your car.
See, that's what I need. I need AI to work for me, do my gardening and all this stuff. But if you wanna, we can start wrapping this up. We're getting up to the hour.
I'm telling you, I could go on
But that's
forever, dude, on this.
I mean, it's
It's
a crazy
if you're,
topic, and it's like there's a lot to it, and like you said, it's kind of
I know.
really, expansive.
if you ever want, Paul, I could talk to Bitcoin Ben. We do classes all the time for our members. Maybe there's something we could do with like an AI class if you wanted to get involved in
Bro, I'm
teaching
so
people.
down. Look, get me to Vegas, bro. Yeah, it's the only reason I'm not in Vegas right now, guys, is because I have a warrant there from like
Oh.
4 years ago from this woman that I was dating that ruined my life, put me 40
Well,
in debt.
I feel you. I got a warrant in Texas, so I don't go. But we have 7 clubs, 8 coming. But we do virtual classes, so we have a lot of
yeah,
members
no.
that attend online.
Yeah.
I'm in 1,000. I'm saying I would love to even do a class like that's a live location while doing.
Oh,
the
that would be
stream of
awesome.
that
Well,
live
plug
class.
your course. What's the unspellable
Yeah, go ahead and
website
do
again?
socials and stuff like that.
Yeah, look, I'll do 2 things. One, it's awesomeinstructions.com, super simple, and it goes into the one pager. So I'll do 2 things. That's the one, And then number two is if you can't pay the $100, I'm cool with it. I'm so cool and I believe in this information so much that if you go all the way to the bottom of the website, there's an affiliate program that you can sign up for. You can sell the program, and then I give you the course for free. And the first 5 sales come to me, and then all other sales go back to you. So I still get my money. You still get the course. Everybody's happy. And that's how much I believe in the course, right? So then the other thing that I'm going to do for you guys is I'll let you, Ken, or Miggy pick somebody at random that was here tonight that left a comment that you were cool with or whatever, or that we want to random generate and we can pick.
Oh, Niner for sure then. Niner was really interested in the chat. You should reach out to him.
Then give me Niner's information or find out Niner's information for me, and then I will send Niner a link for the course for free.
That's love.
Nice.
Okay, so trying to
his Twitter handle is at California_9ER.
And mine is at mentallyhyp. Please send me a DM, and I will send you the code for the free course link so that you can actually see the whole 22 modules, the book, the ChatGPT, the whole thing that we talked about.
Okay, I sent Miggy it. He'll forward it over to you.
Dope. Thank you so much.
All right, bro. Have a night. Thanks for this, and we'll be in touch.
Absolutely, guys. 100%. I love every one of you, and
I need to take the course myself because I'm over here looking at that the notebook LM thing, and it's pretty fucking cool, Miggy. This is actually pretty dope. You can give it the YouTube link to our video, and it will give us a really cool like description. And I don't know. I'm gonna have fun with this. This is like one conversation I'm already AIing. So thank you, Paul.
And that's like I said. There's only one thing. Let me add one more thing for you. It's a website called futuretools.io. Yeah, futuretools.io. And it is a repository of only AI style systems. So you can literally go into the search engine and write text to video or whatever. And it also has a bunch of little buttons that you can choose for a bunch of different things. And if you look really carefully at the bottom, it has like free, freemium, paid, subscription, and so you can choose like I want free only, and it'll only bring you up free things that you ask for. So if you're like, and there's
cool.
little boxes like text to video or text to image, and you just click text to image free, and then it shows you every single free text to image thing that's there.
Dude, this is dope. Thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you.
No doubt. Like, and it's funny. Like it's funny. Like I talk about this stuff all the time, and I have such imposter syndrome. It's so funny, dude. You know, and then I talk to people like you guys who I consider like, you know, I look up to you, both of you, because you're so involved in the world of this, you know, this thing. And so when I get to share something with you that you find interesting, it brings me a lot of joy, you know. And then have you seen websim.ai?
No.
Please check out that one as well, dude. WebSim is this really cool site which will build you your own kind of like video game or your own app, but it's super cheesy graphics and it's really crappy. It's like Bolt.new, but like the super like N64 or 8-bit version. It's super horrible, but what's really cool is that you can go through there and look at any one of these ideas, and then you can fork the idea and then turn it into your own.
Oh, cool.
So it's sort of kind of like a GitHub repository idea, but it's like visualized version of it. And
That's
it's
really
very
cool.
fun to play with. Like if you have an idea and you don't want to spend money on Bolt.new or on Lovable or any of these sites that can, you know, make you a quote unquote enterprise app by just texting to it, you can go to WebSim and use it for free, try out. The code gets built out for you right in front of you. You can steal the code, and then you can take it to Cursor. You can take it to Windsurf. You can take it to whatever you want and really start to go heavy into the idea. You know what I mean? Or even take it to a Claude, Anthropic, and take that idea and really start to refine. I mean, if you really start to use the tools, and I know you guys want to go, but if you guys really start to use the tools instead of just like everybody that I know who's like, you know, 20s to 50s who are like, oh, well, I use ChatGPT all the time. It writes articles for me, or it does this for me. And I'm like, oh, God, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me, Smalls. You know, you have like a super genius, like amazing personal assistant slash almost Jarvis style character, and you're, you know, saying please and thank you, make me an image of me as a monkey on two rhinos drinking.
Right. That's funny.
You know what I mean? And it's like, God, dude, you have no idea the power that you have in your hand today.
This is what me and Miggy were talking about the other day. Wait till all this data gets leaked and we can see all the weird shit you do with AI. Because that data dump is coming. They're going to let me know all the weird images you tried to generate. We'll be able to see all that.
Crazy. Last piece I'll add you. I've been working on this team lately. It's called Synsual, Synsual. Not safe for work for those who are around people who are humans who don't want to see NSFW. But it's an AI in which you can go into it and create your own character with your own images, and it connects to a device which is called the Handy device, which is a sex toy, and they now are promoting this company, this website, Synsual.net, that my friend created. I've been working on the marketing with them, and Lorena Bear, which is my AI supermodel, AI singer that I made. She's actually the face of Synsual for the product line.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, man, I'm playing everywhere, bro. I'm playing everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care what it is. Like, there was a person who asked me to build a website that was like BetterHelp, but for rabbis.
Oh.
And I started helping him build that out, and that's a super badass idea, by the way. You know, for people who want to be religious but don't know how, or want to answer a question about this law or that law, but don't have a rabbi next to them and are willing to pay a little small fee to speak to somebody on the phone and have a Zoom call. I think it's a genius idea. You could do that with every religion, you know.
Yeah, for real.
You know,
or even the new one that AI is about to create.
Well, no, they're all. Oh, by the way, you mentioned it earlier. There's already a guy I had on my podcast, and his name, what's his name? Doesn't matter, but it's at Robotheism. And there's actually right now that I know of 4 or 5 major branded religious ideologies that are based in either technology or AI as a god. But Robotheism, and it's at Robotheism on Twitter, is this kid who constantly posts videos of him as if he's like a white bearded, you know, old man, and he's like, AI is God. He's like doing all these like crazy like you know, VO3 style videos. It's great. It's super dope. But he does even more. He has like conversations with ChatGPT expressing and explaining why he's right.
Right. Well, hey, if I knew how to pray to AI correctly, I'd be able to get free flights from Delta or whatever. So it does. You do ask, you do receive. All right, Paul, I'll let you get going, bro. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Niner, we'll have Paul get in touch with you. We'll introduce you.
On your Twitter.
Cool shit, guys. All right, have a nice.